and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm back. It was a short break, it was a short holiday, but nonetheless, I'm back. I'm arrived one piece from Montenegro and Croatia, and I'm here to jump right back into things and talk about one thing that I've missed doing all week. Talking about Brendan Rodgers. You know, my favourite thing before I went away, and I've missed it very, very much. And we're ready to do it all again today. However, sitting here in a position right now where I thought that I would have been coming back to talk about Brendan Rodgers actually being the Celtic manager. However, we're in a position where Celtic are yet to make the official announcement that Brendan Rodgers has been confirmed as manager. We await that news. We're probably going to have to wait till Monday, and we're all being left on edge as we hope that announcement comes very, very soon. It won't be till Monday at the earliest now. I think we all had our hopes high that it might have been Thursday or Friday afternoon or morning or whatever. That didn't come. We're going to talk about why that might be and why not to panic throughout this stream. And we're going to catch up on the whole situation, what's been going on and all the news that's coming alongside it. There's even been talks of a return for another former Celt and Mohamed El Younousi. So there's so much to talk about. We're going to try and get through it as quickly as possible. I've actually got a wedding today. I've got a wedding at 2 o'clock. I need to be at my pal's house for 1 o'clock. It's 2 minutes past 12. And no, I'm not going to the wedding dressed in this Nike top. So as you'd imagine, there's a lot to do. I'll very quickly, just to catch up with you guys and bring a bit of a human side to it before we talk about Brendan Rodgers. Roscoe, I see in the chat saying, how was the holiday, Ryan? Do you recommend Montenegro? I would recommend Montenegro to anybody who is looking for a holiday destination in the next wee while. Maybe not the time of year where I went, when it's raining. It was meant to be sunny, we just timed it very wrong with thunderstorms. Apparently it's splitting the skies today, the minute I come home. Montenegro and then Dubrovnik in Croatia, two of the most gorgeous places of the world I've ever seen. Montenegro especially, Haxa, you keep a lovely country, sir. Beautiful place. If you're wanting to go somewhere, check out the old town of Kotor in Montenegro. Absolutely beautiful. Fantastic wee corner of the world. Would highly recommend to anyone, but we're not here to talk about holidays. Thank you for asking anyway, Roscoe. I really appreciate it. And it's good to be back. I did enjoy it. Thank you for everybody saying I hope you enjoyed your holiday. It was class. I loved it. It was fantastic. My pals are there till Wednesday. They're heading off to Bosnia today. They're off to Mostar. And then they go back to Croatia to go to Split. And meanwhile, I'm here. I'm back in Glasgow. So, a bit of a gutter. All the travelling myself yesterday took it out me, but I'm back. Thank you for the donation, Celtic Faithful Podcast. Disliked him last week, stoner over him now. Everybody's got a stoner over him now. Let's talk about Brendan Rodgers. Let's get into talking about it. He's not here yet. The announcement hasn't been made. I have seen a hell of a lot of paranoia on social media about the whereabouts of Brendan Rodgers and why he's not been announced yet. A lot of people getting themselves in a bit of a mess because of what happened with Eddie Howe. What I will say is, right, who knows? We can't put all our eggs in one basket and say that's not going to happen. When it's happened to us before, it could easily happen. But what I will say is, I really don't think it's going to. This just has a different feel to the Eddie Howe situation, especially because Brendan Rodgers is a former Celtic manager, is a Celtic fan, and by all accounts looks as though he desperately wants this. What we're hearing, and what I think the situation is the whole backroom situation has held up the deal right now. From my understanding, and probably for your own understanding, put it this way, I've been away for 5 days now. I've not made a video since Sunday night, Monday morning. I've kept up as much as you guys have on social media. You probably know just as much as me. But from my understanding, the situation with John Kennedy could be a factor in holding up this deal. Is he going to stay at Celtic? Is he going to follow Ange Postecoglou to Spurs? What I will say is, whatever his decision turns out to be, I don't think it's going to affect the future of Brendan Rodgers. I think they just want to get those things in place before they actually make the announcement that Rodgers is manager. Whether he goes to Spurs or not, it seems like Rodgers is fine with it, but I think he really wants to keep him here at Celtic. And that's understandable. He's worked with John Kennedy in the past. John Kennedy has been a fantastic servant to Celtic, and his influence at the club has undoubtedly been very important to the success that we've had over the past, 10, 15 years. So there's obviously a reason that Brendan Rodgers wants John Kennedy to be part of this team. And once they've sat down and have decided that, then we'll see what happens. Obviously, there is a clause in John Kennedy's contract that forbids him from just leaving Celtic, I think. I don't think he could just go. This was a clause that I think was quietly put in when Brendan Rodgers was actually in charge of Celtic in his first tenure. And there's some stumbling block in there which doesn't make it as seamless as him just going, okay, bye Celtic, I'm away to Spurs. I think we've got to sit down, we've got to talk, there's got to be agreements. And that's probably something that will be discussed further over the course of this weekend. I imagine that Brendan Rodgers is pretty much in the door and probably is talking to the likes of John Kennedy about their future. Gavin Strachan, Harry Kewell, all these guys who have been offered the possibility to move to Tottenham with Ange Postecoglou. Brendan Rodgers is probably having very open, very honest conversations about what happens with them and what's the next step. If I was to put my money on it, I don't want to come out and say Monday morning is where it's going to be. Monday morning we're going to have Brendan Rodgers announced as Celtic manager. It would make sense with the stock market opening back up on Monday morning, and I hope that it is, just to put everybody's mind to rest. But, you know, if it takes a couple of days, fine. I think the true time for panic would be if we're here this time next week and the situation is the same. If we get to next Friday, Brendan Rodgers still hasn't been announced as Celtic manager, then I think there's maybe cause for panic then. But what I can say to everybody who might be watching this as a video or live right now, for everybody, thank you very much again, Celtic Faithful Podcast, for the donation. What I will say to you is, don't panic. Just be calm. You know, we are in the fact is, I think that we're all just very anxious about the situation of Ange leaving. When you think about it, Ange only left, you know, a week ago today, was it? Was it a week ago today? I think, well, maybe a couple of days before that. Not that far in to the process of Ange leaving, put it that way. I think it was a little bit longer than a week ago today. I'm forgetting what day of the week it is. Holidays threw me off. It's all been very quick. You know, it would be very weird if we had it all announced by now. I think it would have been nice. But, you know, this is standard stuff. And if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, we finally get the news of Brendan Rodgers, then good. I just hope that we don't start to see the mainstream media and the tabloids filtering out these articles which try and put ounces of fear into us and try and give you that bit of doubt. I think that is what we'd like to avoid before the announcement is made. Thank you, Kevin, by the way. I appreciate that. Hit the like button. 500 odd people live. Hit the like button if you haven't already. It would be much appreciated. Give a like for Brendan Rodgers. And thank you, Connor Hall, for the donation as well. Did you bring the cat home? If you did not, sadly. I think I would have had a bit of a problem in customs if I tried to bring home any cats or kittens. But trust me, I was very, very tempted to bring many of them home. Cute wee bastards, honestly. Ange left on the 5th of June. Was that the day he left? Wow. Honestly, I've been thrown off with a holiday. I'm forgetting where in the month we actually are. I want to talk about this article, though. I'm going to bring it onto my screen now. I want to talk about this, which was broke, I think, on the 16th, which was yesterday. This article was posted, and it was in relation to an article from Stephen McGowan of the Daily Mail, which I found very, very interesting. I think if you want some peace of mind, this is the kind of article, and I know I always say, take everything in the MSM with a pinch of salt and don't believe everything they say, and I don't think that anybody's truly in the know. But when it comes to Stephen McGowan, he's pretty good with his stuff. And it's these kind of articles which, there's ones that, if you've got half a brain, you can sit down and you can filter out what's nonsense and what there is actually something to read into. But this article was wrote yesterday. This is from Football Scotland, who touched on the article from Stephen McGowan. Sadly, I don't pay for access to the Mail, so I can't use his article. Brendan Rodgers, Celtic manager, 5-year plan includes European final ambition. And the article goes on to say that Rodgers has reportedly put together a 5-year plan for the Celtic board, including taking the club to a European final. Rodgers wanted a hefty transfer kitty to compete in the Champions League group stages, as well as backing to improve the squad, as he wants to challenge Europe's elite. And this is one of these things that, once again, it just furthers the obviously the proof that Rodgers is coming in. We heard that Rodgers wanted backing. Apparently, he's getting his backing. That's why he's come in. And this 5-year plan has been apparently put together for Brendan Rodgers to compete in Europe. Positives all round. I don't think you can take many negatives away from this. Now, one thing I want to just touch on straight away, and I want to get it out the road. The 5-year plan, right? Sounds like Lawrence Stroll of Aston Martin. The 5-year plan. Does that mean Brendan Rodgers will be here 5 years? Probably not, right? These 5-year plans, they extend beyond managers. They extend beyond whoever's leading the team. These are visions that someone puts in place for the club to go forward with, and the tools to be put in place for the guys that are going to be there as part of it. Rodgers could be here 3 years of the 5-year plan. But those 3 years, he wants the backing that he needs to try and work towards this 5-year plan. This is something that I'm very positive about, very optimistic about, because I think it's something that we desperately need. We need vision for competing in Europe. Because every single year we talk about how Celtic want to compete in Europe, we want to do better, we want to get better results, we want to go further, we want to win a knockout game, and we dream of European finals. But I think for the last 15, 20 years, we've done that with hoping that what we have domestically is enough. And I don't think there's been enough forward thinking in trying to plan for the likes of a European final. I think for us, the course of what we've done seems to be, we win a league title, whoever leaves, and we need to try and replace them, and hopefully we have a squad that's good enough to compete. And it's not been good enough for Celtic to try and get towards something like a European final. It's not been the way for us to go. It's not worked. Instead, having something like a 5-year plan to now work off and try and make steps in and start with a hefty kitty in year 1 could be a lot better in helping to plan a vision forward to get into somewhere like a European final. I'm very happy with this. I think that Rodgers is the kind of manager who will work very well with a plan in front of him like that. And obviously, if he's proposing this plan, he's thought long and hard about it. You know, it's not something he's just sat down and came up with overnight. He'll have steps, he'll have ambition. And if he's getting this hefty transfer kitty that they're talking about, I think there's a lot to be excited about in what we can do. Maybe not suddenly in Europe. I don't think that we're going to go into the Champions League this season and suddenly see last 16 quarter-final games at Celtic Park. I think that with the Champions League changing in a year or two's time, we're heading to that Swiss format. Celtic need to be prepared. They need to be in a position where they can head into that and seriously do some damage. And if Brendan Rodgers is getting the money to spend, I'm very positive about what we can do with that. Now, how much is he going to get to spend? There's been rumours, there's been talks that there could be up to 40 million quid. Keep your hat on. don't expect us to be splashing out 40 million straight away because you've heard it in the forums. I think they will see heavy money to spend. I think that if you see Ange spending the likes of 15, 20 million pounds in one season, I think that you could see Brendan Rodgers go past that 25, 30 million quid. Are the dreams of 40 million too far fetched for Celtic? Absolutely not. Dermot Desmond is worth 2.2 billion. I know that's not all the club's money, but the money certainly should be there for us to play with. We've been banking so much over the past few years, winning trophy after trophy, title after title, Champions League football 2 years back to back now. There is that money there to spend, and then there's obviously the assets that we move on. We should be able to spend the likes of 40 million pounds. Rodgers, with this new recruitment team, that could work very well, and I'm hoping that obviously takes us forward into this new Champions League format and we can do something in European football. So I, for one, welcome the 5-year plan of Brendan Rodgers. I'm very excited for the 5-year plan of Brendan Rodgers. And we'll just need to wait and see. To wrap up this part of the conversation, I'm going to come to you guys. I want to get all of your thoughts and I want to get talking to you to kind of wrap up this stream as we go on. To wrap it up, don't panic. I think he'll be through the door over the next few days. Not today or tomorrow as it's the weekend. Maybe Monday or Tuesday. I think we'll get that announcement that Rodgers is here. It's going to be very interesting to see how the club go about it, how Rodgers will go about it and the press conferences and everything else. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the next few days brings for us, what stories will be given to us by the MSM. And I'll be here to report on every last part of it. I'm actually a qualified journalist now. I got my degree. I've got a bachelor's. No, I've got honours in sports journalism. Weird. Yeah, I know fuck all. Right, so yeah, we'll wait and see what the next few days bring us. Do not panic. And we'll come on to all your questions about Rodgers and the situation in a couple of moments' time. Before we move on to you guys and before I move on to the comments and everything else, I wanted to finally just end off on talking about a potential return, another return at Celtic, and that is one of Mohamed Elyounoussi, who is obviously stepping up to prepare for tonight's big game, Scotland taking on Norway in Oslo, and Mohamed Elyounoussi, obviously involved with the international side. He was asked about the links of Brendan Rodgers to Celtic, and he was asked about a potential return to Celtic. It was an interview. You can go and check it out on FiveYear if you've not seen it yet. Go onto their Twitter page, you'll see it. There's the quote there. We'll see. I enjoyed my time there. Will Mohamed Elyounoussi be back at Celtic anytime soon? This is how I'm going to sum up my opinion right now. I don't care if he does. I don't care if he doesn't. I'm not actively interested in El Yunusi coming back. I think there's more out there. I think we should explore other avenues. I think there's more to do than return to bringing back El Yunusi. What I will say is, I loved him. I thought he was a cracking player. Really liked his time at Celtic. And I wouldn't grudge him coming back. I think he's a quality player. I think he's a quality player. But, you know, he's someone who's probably going to come in after a Premier League spell, get quite a high wage, 28 years of age. I think that there's probably other avenues we can explore. I'm not totally against it. I don't think he will come back. I don't think there's much to read into here. Are Celtic even interested? Is Rodgers even interested? I think we've got someone there like Haksabanovic, who's a very similar player on that left-hand side, who's a younger player who probably deserves a chance under Rodgers, that could do just as much. But I don't know. We'll see. As he says, we'll see. It's one that we'll have to watch develop. I'm looking for some people in the chat, some opinions. I'd welcome him back. Class player, says Josh. Uncle Nobby Steamboat says, good player, but don't think he'll be back. Hack says, better than El Yunusi, says FM Trends. Jota is better, says South Adelaide Snake Catchers. Pegleg, simply saying, no thanks. John, not good enough. I was talking to Ryan McGinley earlier on Messenger, and I completely agree with what he mailed me saying. I don't think there's ever been a more polarising player in Celtic history in regards to, you know, if you need a definition here, polarising. I've never seen anybody that splits opinion quite like him. Genuinely, either you love him or you hate him. I've never seen a player like it. I genuinely don't think so, in recent times anyway. Because even when he was at Celtic, he had such a healthy amount of fans, me being one of them. He was one of my favourite players. Thought he was one of our better players in that COVID season. But at the same time, there was plenty of people who were like, nah, he's not good enough. And they were happy to see him go. I genuinely don't think there's ever been a more polarising player at Celtic Football Club. It was a good observation made by Ryan when he emailed me earlier on. But obviously, he's commented on it. I don't think he'll be back. I don't actively want him to be back, but I wouldn't knock it. I did love him. Cracking player. And we'll just need to see the position and what Rodgers wants as well. You know, Rodgers has got to come in, and he'll have transfer targets in mind. Will El Yunusi be one of them? I don't know. I think it's very quick to jump in and make a story out of this. Yeah, Samaras was very polarising, in fact. He was probably up there as well. Samaras as well. But yeah, just need to wait and see. People saying, you know, he turned it on when he felt like it. I see that comment in there. I think he's 28 now, Josh. Prolific, but too slow. 17 goals in that season. Imagine him in the team now. Good point from Doogie. Yeah. So a lot of split opinion on El Yunusi. To wrap up my side of the stream, I want to just wrap it up now with talking to you guys about Rodgers, about El Yunusi, about the situation, anything at the club right now. Get your questions in and we'll wrap up the stream with it all. It's nice to be back. I've missed it. I took my camera in that with me. I took my camera, my laptop, my microphone, all over in my fucking hand luggage, humping it about from town to town, hoping that Rodgers would get announced, and he didn't. It was a waste of time. I put all that weight in my back for nothing. But we're back now, and let's get some of your thoughts. It could be anything. Uncle Nobby Steamboat, kick off with you. He says, only way that Celtic can make an impact in the Champions League is to gamble and spend next year's transfer budget as well. Can't see us doing that. Speculate to accumulate is not the Celtic way. I think that, once again, I'll highlight the point I made earlier. I think it depends on the landscape of the club. Come maybe the midpoint of the summer. Come Rodgers coming into the side, transfer window being open, moves happening in and out, and looking at the squad and seeing what we need and seeing what Rodgers wants. I think that you can put money aside for a minute and just go, well, we need to see what the actual squad is looking like before we can start talking about a challenge. And then obviously, we've got a big situation in the fact that we need this Champions League group to be nice to us. You know, we could be stuck with it. Rodgers never had any luck when he was his manager in his first tenure. The first year, Manchester City, Barcelona, Borussia Mönchengladbach. The following year, Bayern Munich, PSG, Anderlecht. Tough groups. No wonder we only got 2 and 3 points or whatnot. They were really hard groups. So they need to be nice to us. I am really excited for the new format of the Champions League. I think it's next season it comes in. I think this is the last season with this format, with the 8 groups heading into the last 16. I believe next year we switch to the Swiss format. I think that could be a lot nicer to Celtic. A lot nicer. And we just need to wait and see. But it's about this, as I said, this 5-year plan. It could be very good for Celtic in terms of talking about where we move forward from here. What happens to the Japanese players when the new manager comes in? Is it the end? No. No, of course not. Nationality's got nothing to do with it. And I think that a lot of people, Reece, will talk about maybe, now that Ange is gone, we won't bother shopping in the J League market. I don't think it's as simple as that. Ange brought in people to work with, a recruitment team that done a lot of this work behind the scenes. These guys are still there. Mark Lawwell's still there. These new scouts we signed, they're all there. We will be looking at these markets. It's not the end for the ones we currently have, and it's not the end for shopping in those markets in the future. We just need to make sure we shop for the right guys. We're not signing duds. We'll sign a couple of duds, but we'll sign some true, real quality as well. Brendan needs to move lots on and raise some extra money. Maybe get an extra player of worth in. That's on top of the main incomers. Yeah, I would like a marquee player of some form. But aye. Brian, hello. He says, hope you had a good holiday. I did. Thank you very much. We've both agreed for over weeks we need a new keeper. Who would you take? For me, Kelleher under Rodgers would be good, even if it's on loan. What do you think? I would love Kelleher. Do I think we'd get Kelleher? Probably not. A goalkeeper's a tricky one. There's no any keepers that come to my head that I know that realistically could come to Celtic. We'd have to scout. We'd have to shop markets that I'm not familiar with. We do need a new keeper. Hart's getting older. I think that people will probably say that his quality's dipped a little bit. I still love him to bits. We do need one though. Kelleher would be ideal. Do I think it will happen? I don't know. Selkie will go and bring back Griff. Absolutely. Get it done. Get it done. Wow, it's warm up here. I'm going to go to this wedding sweating. Expect an updated kit video. Yeah, we'll try and get one done. Matthew, back on the Moy stuff, says, I love Moy, but he's a big no from me. We need to build on our current model of buying young wingers with the likes of Abada, Jota and Maeda. Would rather get Hacks have been given a chance than Moy. I'm more inclined to agree with that comment. I think. Yeah. Kaiser says, think that when Brendan arrives, before a ball is kicked, we'll see his intent in the transfer market and he will demand the same control over targets Ange had as a minimum. I agree, 100%. I think that Rodgers will be saying that's these terms that Rodgers apparently has to join Celtic. I think stuff like that is evidently going to be part of it. I think that he will want so much more control than he had last time. Yeah. Did you see the amount of free agents now from the Premier League teams? A few decent players in there that could do well for any SPFL side. Yeah, some big names. Some names that Celtic would certainly be. You know, I'm not one for signing Premier League duds, but there's certainly guys in there who have experience and have real quality that could be big quality Celtic. Whether we're interested in any, we'll have to wait and see. Will Maeda succeed without the high press system? I've been thinking about this a lot, and I don't know. We're going to just have to wait and see. I don't want to knock Maeda's ability as a footballer, because he's a cracking footballer. But is he going to be a Brendan Rodgers footballer? It's a really, really difficult one. Really difficult one. Right. I'm going to wrap it up because I've got to go and get ready for this wedding. So apologies for rushing off. I hate rushing off and I love to talk to you forever. We'll be back tomorrow. With any news that comes out, we'll do a stream or something. But that's me back from my holidays. I don't go away for another few weeks now. Yeah, don't panic. He'll be coming. It's a matter of days away. Rodgers will be through the door. I'm sure of it. Right, like and subscribe. I hope you've all enjoyed the stream. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you next time.